I want to talk to Elizabeth.
Okay.
I want to talk to Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Let's talk to Elizabeth, who's calling in from the UK. Elizabeth, you are live on Talk Heathen. What's up?
Hi. Hello. I've spoken to the chap on the left before. I can't see the name. It was on the Atheist Experience. I called in because my son he died of COVID and he was gay. And they said he was going to hell. Well, anyway, I've gotten away from Christianity now, and I'm an atheist. But I want to say, I think you're really lucky. Well, I wouldn't say lucky, because I know being an atheist there is difficult. But at least you have free speech.
Yes.
Now, what's going on in this country, in the UK, is we don't have free speech. And I have developed ALS like Dave from Dying Out Loud.
Yeah.
And I need specialist accommodation. And I found that because of speaking out against the state social workers, I've been classified as being antisocial behavior. We have what's called in this country protected characteristics, which means you can't speak against anything of that nature, and religion is one of them. So, I mean, it's like really difficult here. I mean, I know it's not like in Saudi Arabia where you're gonna, or other countries where you're gonna maybe get shot or something, but at the moment, I'm fighting in law here to get my housing because I've actually expressed I'm an atheist, and that's been interpreted as hate speech. And I think, in America, you really need to appreciate that there you can actually, at least to some extent, you have free speech. That's it.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. It is something that a lot of people here take for granted. But we do have an express separation between church and state in our Constitution. Whether or not people take advantage of that or not is, up for debate. But a lot of the countries don't have that, including the UK, and you see that intermingling in those institutions happening all the time. One thing that's happening right now, actually, in the United States is we are seeing a rise in Christian nationalism. And one of the tenets of Christian nationalism, at least one that's being purported by a lot of Christian nationalists, is this idea that actually the framers of the Constitution didn't intend for the separation of church and state at all. That they think that the United States is a uniquely Christian country and that was founded on Christian principles, and therefore, those intermingling is actually totally fine because it's actually, right at the beginning there. And the way things are going, I don't know if any decisions are going to be made to overturn that, but we're already kind of seeing that right now. I mean, recently there was a case in the one of the states in the eastern U.S. I can't remember. I think it was Maryland or somewhere where the state is actually funding one of the Christian schools that were there. We're seeing some of this stuff happen where their current Supreme Court, and it's not great.
Yeah, but we do. I mean, we do have kind of that advantage that it's really hard to shut us up. And unfortunately, it sounds like they're tying your necessary medical care to what you believe, and that doesn't seem quite right. But I don't know what you can do about it. I'm not a lawyer in the United States, much less in England.
No, I don't care if you're a QAnon believer. I don't care if you're a Muslim. I don't care if you're a Christian. Whatever, you have a right to health care, in my opinion. I don't think your religious beliefs should bar you from that. Obviously, I don't know at all what's going on with your situation. I don't live in the UK. I don't exactly know how that works. But if what you're saying is true, and that it's because the fact that you're openly expressing yourself as an atheist and you're not receiving the care that you need, then that is absolutely terrible. That definitely should not happen.
Yeah, especially for a country that's supposed to have nationalized health care.
Yeah.
Here, nobody gets health care, except the rich. There might be some resources there in England that we're unaware of. And so if you are in the live chat, they may be able to help you find some places, and there might be some other places online as well, such as our Facebook channels.
Yep.
Our fan-run Facebook channels that might give you some resources to actually change what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to say I'm looking at a lot of the live chat, and there are people from the UK, or presumably think they know the UK, who are saying that's not true. I'm not being denied healthcare. I'm being denied housing.
Okay.
And so basically, I'm being told that because I sort of said I don't believe in God, and my social worker was a fundamentalist Christian, that it was considered antisocial behaviour. On that basis, they can refuse you housing. So, I mean, all these people who are saying that we have free speech, I would suggest not the NHS, not our nationalised health service, which I used to work for and I think is wonderful and I agree with. I'm not being denied healthcare. I'm being denied housing, and it's being made difficult by a council that is basically very pro political correctness.
Right.
And there is a lot of corruption here. I've seen that in the chat. That's actually on record. I mean, and if the people in the chat want to query what I'm saying, they should go to the law and they should look up protected characteristics in UK law. And I'm actually a jurisprudence counsellor, okay, theory of law. And it is a prohibited speech to say anything that can and that can be said to be against religion here, and also the parameters for what's considered hate speech here is namely this: anything that can be perceived to upset a person or anybody observing that person or any other person who perceives that to be hate speech, and then it can be characterized as hate speech. In other words, it's totally subjected. Anyone who perceives it to be hate speech, anyone who observes it, and anyone, a third party who thinks it's hate speech, it can be hate speech.
That's one of the things that the folks in chat need to realize is that you're not having a problem with, it doesn't sound like to me you're having a problem with the system necessarily. You're having a problem with individuals within the system who are possibly abusing their power. Because it shouldn't be you declaring yourself as an atheist, declaring your lack of belief should not be any different than somebody declaring their belief, right? There shouldn't be, and that may be, but what you just read does not sound quite like that either. I don't know.
Well, I at least interpreting it as antisocial behavior. I mean, if that's really the case that's going on here, I don't know. That sounds like a prejudice on somebody's part.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody's overstepping a little bit to me. But again, Dan and I aren't lawyers in the United States, which means we're also not lawyers in England. Yeah. But I'm hoping that
I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that.
I hope if anything. Yeah, I hope if anything, Elizabeth, we can at least give you some respite in your, I don't know, some solace in saying that we respect your belief or lack thereof, right? And we're there with you. We don't think anybody should trample on that or deny you housing or healthcare, but yeah, housing or any other kinds of services that you're entitled to by your individual state because of your expressed religious belief. I mean, it's wrong. I would say that for any religious belief, and I'm so sorry that you have to deal with that. Unfortunately, in the United States, there are biases that still affect people, even if they're not legal. Weird, like religion is supposed to be a protected class when you hire for folks, for example. Right. That's hard. That's so hard to enforce in practice. Like, how do you prove that somebody didn't hire you because you had a religious belief or didn't have religious belief? Like, that's really hard to do. So people kind of do with that anyway. And even in Texas and in other states, it's technically, if you express like an atheist belief, I think like you can't like run for governor and stuff. Like, there's some obscure laws that have like never actually been enforced and because
are unenforceable.
Wouldn't be unenforceable anyway. But it's the fact that it's still there is just like not
ridiculous.
Great. So yeah, atheists I are by and large obviously are marginalized in a lot of places of the world to varying degrees, obviously, but it sucks that you're going through that, Elizabeth. I wish I could give you more than that, but I don't know that I can. I don't know if Jim can.
I don't have anything other than I'm hoping that the chat realizes that, you know, when you're dealing with bureaucracies, the bureaucracy of the law may not be on their side, but, you know, if you, that doesn't mean individuals can't suck. It doesn't mean individuals can't react their own way to what they're told. So hopefully they can give you some resources. Go ahead.
Yeah, just to back up what I'm saying, is there an email address? Because I'm very willing to send you a copy of my correspondence. I don't want you to speak for me, but just to say I'm telling the truth and this is actually going on.
I absolutely believe you. I don't need the evidence.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't know what the specific laws are.
I'm going to take anybody that calls into the show on face value, whether that's like a smart idea to do or not. I just want to assume people are being honest. But look, like you don't have to look for us for validation, right? Like you know, we're hearing you out and we're giving you our sympathies and condolences. But if you do have any correspondence you want to send to us, you can do that. It's TV@atheist-community.org. And that's for anybody that wants to send us stuff.